Life is Strange True Colors has kept me more emotionally invested than any Life is Strange story since I played the original back in 2015. While every game in this adventure series is good in its own way, this one addresses many issues that have plagued the last three. It proves to be the best in the series thanks to consistent writing for both main and side characters, a compelling mystery story with good pacing, useful supernatural abilities, and perhaps most importantly, dialogue choices that offer more depth and complexity with big and small decisions that actually impact the story in meaningful ways throughout the course of 5 chapters. You play as Alex Chen, a young woman with a troubled childhood who comes to the fictional mining town of Haven Springs, Colorado to live with her brother Gabe. After a mysterious accident, Alex uses her supernatural empathic abilities to bring the town's secrets to surface. Personally, I wish that the trailers hadn't spoiled the nature of the central mystery for me, so if you haven't watched them yet, don't. I urge you to go in blind. Haven Springs' scenic views are a compelling and effective tourism ad for Colorado, and arguably the best setting in any Life is Strange game to date. This is a small mountain town, and in typical small town fashion, everyone knows their neighbors and their community is tight-knit. It comes across loud and clear that the residents genuinely care about each other. Some of this insight comes from Alex's phone, which shares details of her relationship with her friends, with some text messages, and the content which varies depending on your in-game choices. There's even a wonderful moment in which the entire town partakes in a LARP featuring light RPG elements that help make the entire section a lot more fun.
During him!
Like Max Caulfield in the original Life is Strange, Alex has an unexplained superpower. She can perceive strong emotions through colorful auras that outline people around her. It may not be as spectacular as turning back time, but it does go beyond just reading people. If a person's feelings are strong enough, Alex will also begin to actually feel those emotions herself. It's almost like an out-of-body experience where she walks a mile in their shoes. In some cases, Alex can interact with items that contain memories that share a bit more about certain characters. Not only can these extra bits of backstory help the dialogue choices, big and small, it helps to add more perspective to Haven Springs residents. Alex records it all in her journal, which offers insight into the character you're playing, and sometimes she will write new lyrics or share extensive detail on what she engages in with another person's strong emotions. One of my favorite aspects of developer Deck9's handling of Life is Strange's story-driven format is that, unlike previous games in the series, there are so many choices that impact Alex's journey and future. Those consequences and reactions feel real and consistent thanks to the detailed facial animations and appropriate body language of the NPCs. Sure, some of those reactions are emphasized and spelled out when an aura appears, but even without the aura, I always had a good understanding of how a character was feeling after Alex interacted with them. Like the previous installments, True Colors' 14-hour story has multiple endings based on the choices you make, none of which is a canonically true ending. While I initially thought I had a good idea of how the story would go, Deck9 managed to keep me guessing, and by the time the plot twist came, I was left in disbelief and eager to see how the final parts would play out. It's impressive that each ending, and their variations, felt natural to Alex, and she remained true to the character of someone who is happy and hopeful for the future that laid ahead. Deck9 also far outshines series creator Dontnod's games in the romance department, with 2 strong options that Alex can pursue. What previous Life is Strange games offered in romance options felt lackluster, with one romance partner clearly prioritized over the other. Regardless of who you choose to romance, both characters have their pros and cons, but an equal playing field left me undecided on which character I wanted Alex to be with. The ball is in your court, and both romance options felt rewarding in their own different way. Life is Strange True Colors is a fantastic game that offers a great story with solid pacing, and unlike previous games in the series, it left me with feeling that every choice I made mattered. In picking up where Dontnod left off, Deck9 has gone above and beyond to create the best game in the series to date, and I am excited to see what the studio does with it next. For more Life is Strange, check out the first 15 minutes of True Colors, and our reviews of some of the previous episodes. And for everything else, stick with IGN.